1970s witnessed the economic collapse of the storied Northeast railroads, their demise driven by an expanding interstate highway system and better trucking service, and an accompanying change in consumer behavior. This development eerily parallels the impact that today's internet highway and e-commerce have had on retail. 40 years ago, railroads were forced through a painful restructuring and repurposing. Today, retailers must do the same or risk joining the old railroads as relics of the monopoly board. John B. Richards is the former president of North American Operations for Starbucks, the CEO of Elizabeth Arden Red Door, and the executive vice president of Four Seasons Hotels, all during their formative growth periods. As a McKinsey consultant, early in his career he was part of the team that helped rechart the course for the failed Northeast freight railroads. Here he draws important parallels with the challenges store-based retail faces today and the lessons it must learn from the railroads to succeed. What lessons can modern-day retail learn from this catastrophic failure?
This is the tale of one system viciously disrupted by another. It ushered in a massive rethinking of the freight railroad's role in Northeast commerce and caused a painful restructuring over the course of a decade. I was part of a McKinsey team hired to help railroad management devise a new strategy for freight railroads in the Northeast. Over several years, we worked to redefine the true competitive positions railroads had in Northeast freight. This strategy involved refocusing on heavy volume-oriented commodities tailored to rail's advantages, abandoning obsolete routes and infrastructure, exiting highly time-sensitive lightweight product where rail simply wasn't competitive, and pricing accordingly. The focus was on areas where rail could compete effectively and make money consistently. No more hauling garden hoses and general merchandise. Instead, haul coal, oil, and steel, and the occasional guided missile. Now, this process redefined the railroad's competitive position, and with greater regulatory flexibility, the reformulated freight system survived to prosper again over time. But the legacy railroads, such as the Pennsylvania Railroad and the New York Central, exist only on your monopoly board today.
What can today's store-centered retail, facing threats from the internet rather than truck hauling and regulation, learn from this process?
Today, retail change is not an interesting strategic notion. It is a tactical imperative. The internet now provides a cheaper, more convenient shopping alternative for many consumer needs, and consumer behavior has evolved to embrace online shopping as capabilities have improved. A brick-and-mortar store is no longer the only way to inspect and acquire most goods in a convenient fashion. The plight of store-based retail in the 2000s is like that of the railroads of the 70s.
What does retail's version of the new railroad look like?
Now, focusing on what retail can do well in fewer places, just like the railroads, with an integrated web store model is key. The remaining stores should be beacons of the brand and strongly experience and service-driven. This is where a physical experience can perform uniquely well in integrated combination with the web and successfully combat the instant gratification that is often favored in the Amazon era. Stores of the future should be highly convenient and strategically well located, strongly service-oriented, with staff that knows something and can actually add value, interesting, experience-based environments, and truly multi-channel with fully integrated best-of-web, best-of-store combinations. Integrate high-touch, in-store experiences with web-based information now available on mobile. And finally, unique merchandise exceeding the expectation that a surprise and discovery is just around the corner. Now, except for meaningful in-store experiences and the most immediate consumption and convenience needs, the delivery just can't be. Much of retail will migrate to the web. Now, if retailers aren't sharpening their models against this new reality, as the railroads were forced to do, they too will end up on the monopoly board. Remember, shopping is a combination of fact-finding and emotional gratification. The internet, a efficiently marshals fact-finding. But the physical environment must spark emotional connection, aspiration, and surprise.